December 23rd, 2012, that's the day that I took a decision to change my life. I had been a smoker for 10 years, and I decided to quit. And this wasn't the type of quitting that Mark Twain had quipped about, when he said, quitting smoking is the easiest thing in the world. I know because I've done it thousands of times. Now, I didn't want to be so proficient at quitting like Mark Twain. I wanted to get done with it. So I was on my 4th attempt. I quit cold turkey. And 10 years of smoking, it catches up with you. I couldn't climb a flight of stairs without losing my breath. But today, January the 29th, 2017, it's been 4 years, 1 month, and 6 days since my last cigarette. I was hoping for an applause there. Why did it work on the 4th attempt? Why? From the very beginning, when I decided to quit, I got myself a bicycle. Now, I was in such poor shape back then, I couldn't ride it till the end of the road. But I never gave up, I stuck with it. I was patient with it. And as my breathing improved, so did my distances. And I started commuting to work, 2 kilometers each way, 4 times a week. No, four times a day, 6 times a week. And that adds up, right? It adds up over time. I got stronger. I grew more confident. And soon I was taking an hour-long trips outside Manipal. The joy, man, the joy of feeling your life bounce back. Come back, it just comes back. It's fantastic. I grew in confidence. And when you grow in confidence, you begin to dream. And dreams give you hope for a better tomorrow. But my mother didn't think so. No. I love her to death, but she didn't think so. When I told her, I'm going to take my bicycle and I'm going to cycle to Agumbe. And for those of you who don't know, Agumbe is like a hill. It's 40 kilometers from here. And I told her, I'm going to go cycle there. She said, son, you've gone mad, absolutely mad. Why do you want to go through so much trouble? You can get on a bus, pay this guy 60 rupees, and he'll take you on top in 2 hours. Right? Why struggle so much? Your cycle may break down. You may break down. And it was a possibility. It was a possibility. And I was stumped. I didn't have an answer to that. But you know what? I went and did it anyways because this wasn't for my mother. This wasn't for my father. I was doing this for me. I made it personal. I went and climbed Agumbe. Not just once, several times. A clap again? Okay. And to go from struggling to climb up a flight of stairs to going up and cycling 40 kilometers and then climb uphill 10 kilometers and you stand on top of Agumbe and suddenly at that point everything becomes possible. Everything becomes possible. And adding fuel to that fire was the fact that I was reading voraciously about, I'll show you a picture of Agumbe, sorry. Slides. I lose track, just get into the story, sorry. So this is me in Agumbe. Where was I? Okay, I climbed Agumbe and I was reading voraciously about expedition bicyclists, people who got on the bicycle and went around the world, climbed mountains, went into the desert, rode on frozen lakes. And these guys were ordinary people like you and me, normal people with normal jobs, doctors, engineers, chefs, lawyers, musicians. And the fact is that they were leading ordinary lives, but they were doing extraordinary things on a bicycle. And I was inspired. I was inspired. In August 2014, 18 months into my quit, after I quit smoking, that is, I took a very bold step. I quit my job. I packed my bicycle in a box. Most people thought it was a TV. It was my bicycle. And I put it on a flight, and I took off to Srinagar with the dream of riding the Indian Himalayas. Now, when you're in Srinagar, if you picture the map, you have Srinagar, you have Ladakh, you have Himachal Pradesh, you have Uttaranchal, and then you have the whole Nepali Himalayas spread right before you. You have Ganesh Himal, you have the Annapurnas, you have Everest area, and after that comes Kanchenjunga. And no, this was not on a whim. This was not something that I decided yesterday and went tomorrow, you know. It's nothing like that. This took 1 year of hard work, so many sacrifices made. I saved every penny to make this dream come true. And here I was staring down at the Indian Himalayas. And man, oh man, the adventures that I had. This one time, sorry, I keep losing track of my slides. So this one time, I was in the Indus Valley. I was cycling in the Indus Valley, really close to the Pakistani border. And it was late in the evening, and I was crossing over the bridge over the Indus, and I got stopped by the army, and the army guys were, "Beta, kahan ja rahe ho? It's too dangerous for you to be out at this time of the day. It's time that you got in." And they found me a place to stay. They found me a place in this really charming little village called Darcheeks. Yeah, and I hit the place at a very nice time. It was the annual apricot harvest time. Festivities everywhere. People were merrymaking and stuff like that. Wherever I went, people were like, "Come sit, have chai, tell me your story. What are you doing? Where are you going?" And they gave me so much apricots to eat. I couldn't help myself. I just kept eating apricots. And they grew on trees, just trees. You could just pluck and eat apricots. And I went mental on them. But the thing is, you eat too many apricots, it leads to indigestion. Yeah. And they don't tell you these in the guidebook. I mean, what the hell? The other thing that they don't tell you in the guidebook is the toilets here, they're very primitive. The villagers there have to make do with an outhouse, you know, the business end of which is like a small hole in the floor. You do your bit, you stand up, put on your pants, go to the side, you have a shovel there, a pile of dry leaves. Yeah, that's what you do. You get the point. And it stunk. Oh my God, it stunk so much. The first time I used it, I'm like, "Ganesh, you're never taking a shit in this village. Never." But now that I'd gone mental on the apricots, I had to go. I had to go. So I did just the one thing, you know, one thing possible. I ran. I ran out of this guy's house. I ran across the village, across the apricot orchard. I didn't look at the apricots. I crossed a stream and I went to the army camp looking for better facilities, and I found better facilities. I found this fantastic toilet. It had a curtain. I opened the curtain. The toilet was there. It was so clean. It was like, wow, you could eat off it. But I wasn't into eating. I had done enough eating for the day, yeah? So I sat. I did my thing. I relaxed. And the minute I relaxed, I started taking in the details. Wow, what a toilet. It was so well equipped. There was like a full-length mirror, a table fan, you know? There were books to read. There were bottled drinking water, and the toiletries, face wash, hand wash, shaving cream, toothbrush, toothpaste, everything you needed. I wasn't in there for that. But I finished my business anyways. I got up, I flushed. You always flush a toilet. I flushed. I got up, I washed my hands, you know, checked my hair. And then I used the good towels there. And I stepped out. The minute I stepped out, I ran into this big man. He was standing right outside. I don't know what he was doing, but he's standing right outside. Thought, it's like huge-chested guy like that. He could crush me in his finger. Big mush and really angry, really angry. I'm like, shit. And he's angry at me, you know. I'm like, what did I do? And he was too flabbergasted to talk. kept saying, "Dekho, dekho, dekho." And I looked back, and I'd seen the sign of toilet, before I went in. But now that I was a little more relaxed, in big bold letters right underneath, it was written, "Officers only." I'm not an officer, I'm Ganesh. He was an officer. Not good for me. Danta yaar, kitna danta. Gali de di pura. And not only that, he made me go to the local store there, which the army ran for the handicrafts the villagers made, and he made me buy a cap. Yeah, a red cap. Look at that face. Officer? No. So my advice to you is stay away from apricots. Don't have this apricot business. The other thing you should do is don't believe in guidebooks. Take your guidebook and throw it out of the window. That's when adventure happens. It'll come, it'll grab you by the collar and say, "Aaja beta, come, have an adventure." And that's what happened. I was in Ladakh, yeah? And I was just leaving Ladakh, and I met this very charming, very enterprising horseman by the name of Son Singh. This chap. And within 10 minutes of having a chai with me, he convinced me to stop riding the highway and take a 10-day detour into the vast deserts of Rupshu Valley. And I was like, yeah, this is adventure. This is what I worked for a year. And I grabbed that opportunity and I went off with this guy. And it was magnificent, my God. Look at that. It was just pure mountain and space and space and space and wide open skies. And I was cycling right in between on this path, put all my luggage on his horses, and we went off into the desert. Oh, the kind of adventure that I had, my God. And it was challenging, yeah, the days were challenging. This one time I had to push my bicycle up a hill, an 8-kilometer hill. I pushed my bicycle to reach a pass at 5,600 meters. That's 5.5 kilometers above our head right now. I was there, pushed my bicycle there. It was awesome. There were days when I walked and we had to wade a swamp, carrying my bicycle on my shoulder. That was another adventure. This other time, I actually spotted a snow leopard. It was amazing, an amazing experience, Another day, and this is when things got really challenging. The weather started changing, and I think this was day number 8. The weather started changing. It got really cold. The clouds had come in, got really cold. And as usual, we got up really early in the morning. And the thing is, water, right? Water is like so precious. They're out in the desert. You can't carry water for 10 days. So what you did was go from point to point, and you refilled on water for that day. So we used to get up really early in the morning, pack our bags, and start walking. This day, around 10, out of the blue, we got hit by a sandstorm. And all we did was fucking crouch and wait for it to pass. We waited 2 hours. But finally it subsided, the storm subsided, but we had lost 2 precious hours, and 2 hours is a lot of time in the desert because conditions just change. It gets really hot in the afternoon, and around 3, the winds come, the winds are a force there. It's impossible to walk against it, and it blows against you, Every step is excruciating. And we walked and walked and walked, and the water never came that day. At 3 p.m., we were supposed to reach the place where we were supposed to get it. This is when we were about to hit the sandstorm. I just took this picture. By then, I'd given up cycling because it was just too tough. I put it on the horse. I was walking behind him. At 3 p.m., we were supposed to reach a place where there was water, and we reached there, and guess what? The stream had actually run dry. The stream had run dry. We had no water. We had walked 8 hours. We had weathered a sandstorm. We battled the heat. We had no water to drink, no food. Went through the wind, and we reached a place where we thought we'll have some water, and there was no water there. I practically gave up. I sat down and I said, I'm not going, I'm staying here. And Son Singh was like, that's not going to happen. The minute we sit down, it's game over. It's going to get cold. We're not going to have water. There's no food. We have to go. And now. And then the winds came. The winds came and it made things impossible. It just pushed you in every direction and you had to go, right? And we started walking. And it was one excruciating step at a time. I was barely conscious, I guess. I just kept following Son's footsteps because he was right ahead of me. And suddenly he was like, Biddu! Biddu! I'm like, this is it. He's lost it. The horses are going to run wide, and I'm dead. But he kept pointing, Biddu, Biddu, and he was pointing to these hills. And I didn't understand what he was saying. So I kept looking, and as I looked, I suddenly saw the face of the mountain change. It was actually changing. There was some movement that I could make out. And then I realized what Biddu means. Can someone guess? It's a sheep. And there was this sea of sheep that was coming down, and where there's the sea of sheep, there is a shepherd. Exactly. This guy came down that hill like a messiah, man. He just came and saved us, like literally. This was like, he just came like a sea of sheep. And it was mesmerizing to see that. And he came, he rescued us. He took us back into a valley, a side valley, and he got us water that day. Oh, sorry. I think I'm missing one slide. That's nice. I don't have to change. And anyway, and you know what? He got us water, and suddenly something so mundane as like water took on a different meaning. The ordinary became extraordinary, And that's what adventure does. Adventure is supposed to change things for you, make the ordinary into extraordinary things. Like water had a completely new meaning for me now. And by the way, which is a very important resource. And I think in some ways, it's the same, adventure has done the same thing for me. It's changed my ordinary life into something extraordinary. I never imagined that I would be able to cycle the mountains, go into a desert, right? But I've been able to achieve that. I never thought I'll give a TEDx talk, but look at me, I'm standing here and telling you a story. And adventure has done that for me. But it comes at a price, right? Like I'm gearing up for a new adventure right now. In 6 months, I'm going to Alaska to a kayak for 6 weeks. And I've been broke once. I'm getting ready to go broke again. Yeah. And you need to be physically fit. Imagine getting stuck in a desert, no water, no food, lost, and you are woefully unfit. Is that a situation that you want to be in? No, right? That is a recipe for disaster. So I need to prepare for it. 4 hours of intense physical workout every day without a beat. That comes at a price of no movies, no food outside, no friends, no social life. So what is it all worth? Is it really worth it? And I'm supposed to actually quote Mark Twain now, so just give me a second. So Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the things that you did. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. My name is Ganesh. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you.